It seems like some of the biggest updates of Pokemon Go happening in 2026 are happening in February. You might ask,
how do you know that? You don't know the future.
My friend, this is year 10. I know the future. And today I'm going to explain to you some things that are happening in the near future and why they're so important. It's going to be a really fun month of Pokemon Go. Also, there's a little bit of a different setup today because I was about to stream Arc Raiders because I'm addicted and now making Arc Raiders YouTube videos and streams. And I didn't want to leave you hanging with all this news. I didn't realize so much stuff is happening right now in Pokemon Go, so I want to keep you informed. Starting with the Oricorio Catchmastery event happening Saturday, February 7th, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. local time. This is literally just a 10-hour event on one day. Bali-style Oricorio will be spawning in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. Pom-Pom in the Americas. Pau-style will be in Africa, Asia, Pacific, and Caribbean islands. And Sensu will be in the Asia-Pacific region. The nice thing, though, is although the regional versions are not spawning worldwide, sorry for baiting you, you do have an increased chance of getting a shiny. So if you don't have the shiny version of Oricorio in your own region, this is going to make it a lot easier to do that. Also, too, during these 10 hours on this one day, you get 2 times XP for successfully catching Pokemon with nice throws or better. So 2 times XP with a lucky egg. Hitting excellence is going to give you a ton of XP throughout the day, and you get extra candy for getting accurate catches. Also, too, appearing more frequently in the wild will have Hoot Hoot and Starly with increased shiny chances, and there will be field research tasks that can give you Hoot Hoot, Starly, or Oricorio. The Oricorio will be based off of your region. There's also a timed research that gives you XP, Stardust, and more encounters with Oricorio, and a paid timed research for $2, which gives you even more XP, Stardust, and encounters with Oricorio. I'm going to be honest with you, I think they're just doing things just to do things, right? Just like putting stuff in the game just to put stuff in the game. This is definitely the least exciting thing that I'm talking about in today's video, I promise. Go Pass February has been announced, and as part of it, we get a very cool encounter with Giratina. The major milestone bonuses for the Go Pass for this month includes Tier 1, which is rank 25, opening up to 40 gifts per day, receiving up to 125 gifts per day, and holding 10 more gifts in your bag. Tier 2, rank 50, 2 times daily incense duration. Tier 3, rank 75, up to 2 free raid passes from spinning gyms per day, which is huge. And then if you pay to upgrade to the Go Pass Deluxe, Tier 1 will give you up to 50 gifts per day, receive up to 150 gifts per day, and hold up to 20 more gifts in your item bag. I really like this milestone concept. The fact that we can unlock even more bonuses throughout the month is really cool, especially because it's free. Some of it's free. Also, the Valentine's Day event is coming back to Pokemon Go, which is reintroducing one of the rarest shiny forms in Pokemon Go, Heart Spinda. This event is happening Tuesday, February 10th to Sunday, February 15th. Event bonuses include 2 times XP for catching Pokemon, 2 times Stardust from opening gifts, increased chance to encounter shiny Nidoran male and female, and increased chance to hatch shiny Nidoran male, female, and shiny Cherubi. Also, another very, very rare form that can be shiny that we only get a chance at once per year is coming back. It's Furfrou, which is one of the hardest to complete shiny families in the entire game. The reason why is because there's the base form Furfrou, which you catch, and then there's all of the other forms of Furfrou, which you have to change forms into, either in specific regions in the world or during specific times in the year. So if you want to get the La Reine version of Furfrou, you have to travel to France and change its form there. It's kind of cool. Like a kind of cool regionally exclusive thing. So as you could imagine, a very hard shiny family to complete, and you only can get the Heart Trim Furfrou once a year during Valentine's Day. So this is definitely, if we're looking at events throughout the entire year, this is one that you do not want to miss. Go out, get your shiny Furfrou, and change it to that heart form so that you can have that in your collection if you don't already. Also, there's a global challenge. Basically, just send a bunch of gifts, and if we all send enough gifts, we will get the following rewards: free time to research, and awarding encounters with Spinda with a heart pattern. That's great. Successfully catching a Pokemon with a curveball throw will reward 750 XP, very helpful, and gifts may include rare candy when opening, super helpful. Wild encounters for this Valentine's Day event will include Nidoran male and female, Furfrou, and more, and encounters with Audino. I don't know why they worded it like that. That completely scrambled my brain. Scrambled it like eggs. Speaking of eggs, in the 7-kilometer eggs, we'll have male and female Nidoran, Cleffa, Igglybuff, Cherubi, and Happiny, which are just okay spawns. Nothing super insane in there, but boosted shiny on Cherubi, right? Okay. Raids, 3-star raids, we're going to have Gardevoir and Gallade. Those are useful. Mega Gardevoir is very helpful. Mega Gallade. So that's nice. Also, you can evolve to a Gardevoir or a Gallade that knows the charge attack Synchronoise during this event. So exclusive move that you can get during Valentine's Day. Now, here's the really, really big announcement and something that I'm very excited for and I am preparing my wallet for. We've got the Road to Kalos event happening, which is an event basically leading up to the Kalos tour happening at the end of February, which is the big Q1 event for Pokemon Go. The tour events have been historically great. They kind of got worse over time, but it seems like they made this one better. So to celebrate the Kalos tour, we're basically going back in time and having mini events celebrating each generation leading up to Kalos. This is all happening Monday, February 23rd to Friday, February 27th. We've got some, of course, costume Pikachu that can be shiny to hunt. We've got Pikachu wearing Red's hat, wearing Leaf's hat, wearing Ethan's hat, wearing Lyra's hat, all coming to Pokemon Go for the first time ever, and they all can be shiny. So that's 4 new hat Pikachus with shinies to hunt during all of this. Here's how the wild encounters are going to work. Each and every day is going to be a different generation. So it'll be kind of fun to play through this just because every day, new generation, different Pokemon spawning, different Pokemon in raids. This will be great. On Monday, February 23rd, we're going to celebrate Kanto. So Pokemon like Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle, Pikachu, Clefairy, and Meowth spawning in the wild. Maybe, just maybe, we'll have some like big evolutions spawning. Fingers crossed. Tuesday, February 24th will be Johto, which includes Pokemon like Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Totodile, Marill, Hoppip, Teddiursa. Wednesday, February 25th will be Hoenn, so Pokemon like Trico, Torchic, Mudkip, Poochyena, Tailo, Nincada. Thursday, February 26th, we've got Sinnoh, so Turtwig, Chimchar, Piplup, Bidoof, Shinx, Snover. And then Friday, February 27th will be Unova, so Snivy, Tepig, Oshawott, Lillipup, Darumaka, and Gothita. So that's cool. That's fun. Wild spawns are great, but it's the raids that are going to be insane. Kind of starts, it's like feeling like a little bit more like 2020 Pokemon Go, 2021, when we were all like raid crazed, you know, and it was very fun. Let's not lie. That was some of the most expensive gameplay I think we've all played, but we had the most fun. Okay, so raids are working in kind of an interesting way, but basically each and every day there's going to be new raid bosses, and every single day from 6 to 7 p.m. will be a raid hour featuring those raid bosses, the legendary raid bosses, that is. So on Monday for Kanto, we've got Pikachu with Red's hat and Leaf's hat in the 1-star raids, and in the 5-star raids, we've got Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. There are going to be special backgrounds, and I'll talk about those in a second. Tuesday for Johto, in the 1-star raids, we've got Pikachu with Ethan's and Lyra's hat, and then in the 5-star raids, we've got Shadow Lugia and Shadow Ho-Oh. Yes, dude, Shadow legendaries are here, and of course, Shadow Shiny Legendaries, better chance at getting a Shundo. These are going to be great. Wednesday will be Hoenn. We'll have Pikachu wearing Brendan's hat and May's bow in the 1-star raids. And then Wednesday, we've got Primal. The Primal Pokemon are back. Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon are back, dude. Super duper exciting. We do not get the Primals back very often. We're talking maybe once or twice a year, maybe. So this could be the once per year we get Primal Kyogre and Groudon. So when I was saying, you know, you don't want to miss these events or these raids, and this is definitely like probably one of the biggest weeks of Pokemon Go we'll have the entire year. It's because they're bringing back specific Pokemon in the raids that are very useful and very rare and only come back every so often. So this is huge. Primal Kyogre, Primal Groudon, they're like the best Pokemon in their class in each of their respective typing. And the reason why is because they're primals. They work like megas. You have to raid them, get primal energy, and then use it to mega evolve these Pokemon. Or primal evolve, whatever. Okay, Thursday, Sinnoh. In the 1-star raids, we've got Pikachu with Luca's hat and Dawn's hat. So we can kind of go back and hunt these hat Pikachu shinies in the raids in the 1-stars. 5-star raids will be Dialga and Palkia. And on Thursday, we will have space-time anomalies. And during those times, and I'll explain how that's going to work, the 1-star raids will be Pikachu wearing Ray's cap and Kari's handkerchief. So different Pikachus during the space-time anomalies. And in the 5-star raids, yes, Origin Form Dialga and Palkia. And yes, you can get the moves Spatial Rend and Roar of Time, which are 2 of the most useful adventure effects in Pokemon Go. I mean, quite literally, if you're going to maximize for one legendary, you know, you should maximize probably for Palkia for Spatial Rend, because Spatial Rend allows you to see 2 times the amount of Pokemon spawning on the map. So for events like Go Fest, Community Day, the tour events, Go Wild area, any major event, Spatial Rend is your best friend, and it's going to make catching Pokemon in the wild so much more fun, so much easier, and you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck from the wild spawns. So Palkia candy, in my opinion, is probably the most valuable candy in Pokemon Go because its adventure effect is so good. Although I personally think Kyurem candy might be the most valuable because the adventure effect for Black Kyurem is my favorite when doing legendary raids, and we're going to be doing a lot of raids. But don't worry, we'll talk about that in a second because they're also coming back, which is insane. But for starters, hold on. The Thursday, February 26th, it's going to work a little interestingly. So with the exception of the raid hour, the raid bosses are going to alternate each hour during the event hours, and they're going to rotate after the first 30 minutes. So basically, first we're going to have Pikachu wearing Luca's hat, Dawn's hat, Dialga, and Palkia, and then after an hour, we're going to have Pikachu wearing Ray's cap, the handkerchief, Origin Form Dialga, and Origin Form Palkia, and again, you can get the adventure effects. So that's going to be a really, really big day. Put that in your calendar. Thursday, February 26th is going to be huge. And then we've got Friday, February 27th, which is Black Kyurem and Unova. So the 1-star raids are going to be Pikachu wearing Hilbert's hat and Hilda's hat. And then the 5-star raids will be Reshiram and Black Kyurem, dude. No way. That's so cool. So Black Kyurem has an adventure effect called Free Shock, which is my favorite adventure effect personally. What it does is it brings the base catch rate up on Pokemon, and it's essentially an infinite Nana Berry, which means when you're raiding legendary Pokemon, they're going to be easier to catch because the catch rate is higher, and they're not going to dodge. So it's going to be extremely easy to hit excellent throws without them dodging, moving around, knocking the ball around. So it's great. So for me personally, Kyurem candy is probably the most valuable for me, with Palkia candy being a very close number 2. But these 2 days, like if there's any day to go super hard on raiding, these 2 are definitely it. And since Black Kyurem is here, you will be able to get that adventure effect too. Also, White Kyurem will be spawning too. Again, there's going to be this kind of like every hour they're going to switch sort of thing. So during the other hour in the 1-star raids on Friday, February 27th, we'll have Pikachu with Nate's visor and Rose's visor. And then in the 5-star raids, we'll have Zekrom and White Kyurem. So again, same thing on Thursday. Every hour, the raid bosses are going to switch. Friday, every hour, the raid bosses are going to switch, and they're going to be insane. Also, there's exclusive moves that you can get on these Pokemon. On Monday, the legendary birds, Articuno is going to have Hurricane, Zapdos will have Thundershock, Moltres will have Sky Attack. On Wednesday, which is Hoenn, we're going to have Kyogre with Origin Pulse, Groudon with Precipice Blades, and if I'm not mistaken, you need to have Origin Pulse on Kyogre in order to Primal Evolve it, and you need to have Precipice Blades on Groudon in order to Primal Evolve it. So you'll have to catch these Pokemon with those moves, get the energy from the raids, and then Primal Evolve them, and they're very, very useful. My Primal Kyogre and Groudons, I have them at like max level Primal or like max level Mega. They're great. Thursday, February 26th, Sinnoh, Origin Form Dialga will have Roar of Time. I'm sorry, it will have a chance to know Roar of Time. Origin Form Palkia will have a chance to know Spatial Rend. These Pokemon need to have these moves in order to get the adventure effect. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, I mean money, but you know, we'll say for whatever reason, in Pokemon Go, it is not guaranteed to get Roar of Time on an Origin Form Dialga. It's kind of like getting a shiny. I think the odds for that move is like 1 in 5, 1 in 10, 1 in 3. Like it's not that hard, but you do have to do a couple of raids to guarantee getting an Origin Form Dialga or an Origin Form Palkia with the move on it that gives it the adventure effect, which kind of sucks. So just know that that's happening. And then on Friday, February 27th, the Unova Day, Reshiram will have Fusion Flare, Zekrom will have Fusion Bolt, and Kyurem encountered from raids will have a chance to know Glaciate, which, again, I think you need for the adventure effect, right? And here's the big thing. Special backgrounds, bro. So if there wasn't already enough reason to log in and hit these raids, this will give us all much more reason. Basically, everything is going to have special backgrounds, and I think they're going to be different, all going to be different. On Monday, February 23rd, for the Kanto Day, Pikachu wearing Red's hat and wearing Leaf's hat can have a background inspired by Team Mystic, Team Instinct, or Team Valor. Okay, I'm going to complain right now, just quickly, because I'm like kind of a completionist. Like in my ideal world, I catch every single shiny and shiny variant in Pokemon Go, you know, like that would be great. Like we're all Pokemon collectors, right? But when they do this, when they put Pikachu in the 1-star raids, which by the way, the shiny rates in 1-star raids are like 1 in 64 base. So it might be higher for this event, hopefully, but if it's 1 in 64, that's a lot of raids, dude, to get a shiny. And the fact that like it can have 1 of 3 backgrounds, which means if you get a shiny Red's hat Pikachu with the Team Mystic background, that's great, but you still need the Team Instinct and Team Valor background. And I'm pretty sure the Pikachu probably aren't guaranteed to have a background after every single raid. So you could get a shiny with no background. This makes it like impossible to complete this set yourself, which maybe there's something to be said about that, because that does incentivize like actually going out, interacting with other trainers and trading, which is cool. But I don't know, whatever. That's my complaint. Articuno can have a background inspired by Team Mystic, Zapdos, Team Instinct, and Moltres, Team Valor. Also, we did get previews of what these backgrounds are going to look like, so those will be on screen. They look pretty cool, right? Like, it makes sense. Like, they're okay. These backgrounds specifically are just okay. The other ones, I think, are much better. Speaking of other ones, the Johto, so Tuesday, February 24th, Johto, Pikachu wearing Ethan's hat and Lyra's hat can have a background inspired by Pokemon Gold or Silver. And Shadow Lugia can have a background inspired by Pokemon Silver. Shadow Ho-Oh can have a background inspired by Pokemon Gold. These backgrounds look awesome. These are so, so cool. And to think, like, imagine having like a Shadow shiny Ho-Oh with this gold background. Like, that's insane. So those are very, 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 very cool. And we might even do some streams here on the Mystic 7 channel, speaking of streaming, to take these raids out, because if we have a lot of raid passes, I'm going to go hard on this. Wednesday, February 25th, we are going to have the Pokemon Sapphire and Ruby version backgrounds. So the Pikachu with Brendan's hat and May's bow can have one of those two backgrounds. Kyogre can have a background of Pokemon Sapphire. Groudon, Pokemon Ruby. Those also look amazing, look really, really cool. I think they'll look fantastic with a shiny with that background, so I will be hunting for that. Thursday, February 26th will be Sinnoh. These also look very, very great. We'll have the Diamond and Pearl version backgrounds, so the Pikachu with Lucas' hat or Dawn's hat or Rai's cape or Akari's handkerchief. All four of those Pikachu could get a background from either version. So again, like, the likelihood of getting all of these shiny with the backgrounds is impossible. Whatever. Dialga and Origin Form Dialga can have a background with the Pokemon Diamond version, and then Palkia and Origin Form Palkia can have the Pokemon Pearl version. These backgrounds look very cool. When you use the adventure effect on Origin Form Dialga or Palkia, it has that those circle rings that kind of go out around it, and you can see that design echoed in the background, which looks super sick. Like, these are very cool backgrounds for both of these Pokemon, so I'm gonna need those shiny, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I spent all my money during this week. Friday, February 27th for Unova, we've got the Pokemon Black and White background. So all of the Pikachu spawning that day, all the Pikachu in the 1-star raids that day could have the Black and White version background. And then Reshiram can have the Pokemon Black version, and Zekrom can have the Pokemon White version. Also, it's important to know, when you fuse a Zekrom or Reshiram that has a special background with a Kyurem that has a special background of the opposite color, the fused Black or White Kyurem will have its own variant background. This is something that I want to highlight as something really, really cool, and this is like a big flex. Because if you think about rarity in Pokemon Go, we've talked about this so much. The concept of rarity has really evolved as the game has gone on these past 10 years. They need to give us more and more reasons to play and spend money and give us more things to hunt. Because originally it was, evolved Pokemon, and then it was shiny Pokemon, and then it was shiny shadows, and then it lucky shinies and shundos. All these different things have come to the game that make us want to grind. This is a very cool thing where, once again, if you have a Zekrom or Reshiram with a special background, okay, and let me see, and you fuse it with a Kyurem, which has a different special background. So let's say you have a Reshiram. Wait, let me see, right? Reshiram. Let's say you have a Reshiram with the Pokemon Black version special background, and you have a Zekrom, right? Yeah, you have a Zekrom with the Pokemon White version background. If you fuse those two Pokemon together, you will get its own cool black and white variant background, which is great. And also, too, not to mention, all of these Pokemon, they have a lot of these Pokemon have adventure effects, which are very useful. They're also very, very meta-relevant. White Kyurem is the #1 ice type in the game. Black Kyurem is the #2 ice type in the game. Primal Kyogre is the #1 water type and the #5 ice type. Primal Groudon is the #1 ground type and the #7 grass type, and Origin Form Palkia is the #9 dragon type. This is why I'm saying this is one of the biggest weeks this entire year for Pokemon Go, because these are some of the most meta-relevant and useful Pokemon in the entire game, all back for like a consecutive week, which is crazy. They don't really do this much. So that's nuts. On top of that, there's eggs that you can hatch during this week, during this event, which will have Larvitar, Bagon, Beldum, and Gibble in the 2-kilometer eggs. That's kind of cool. And the event bonuses include half hatch distance when eggs are placed in incubators during the event. The remote raid pass limit will be increased to 30 per day from Monday, February 23rd to Friday, February 27th. So that's super exciting. 30 remote raids per day to try to get all of these legendaries with shinies and backgrounds. Honestly, that's not enough. That's just not enough, whatever. And there will be no limit on remote raids from Saturday, February 28th to Sunday, March 1st, which is really great because I am going to be on a bachelor party cruise during these dates, and I will be making a Pokemon Go video playing this event, but unlimited remote raids are going to help a lot during these videos. And there's going to be field research tasks as well that you can do to get different costume Pikachu. So if you don't want to do the raids for the costume Pikachu, you can do field research, but they will not have special backgrounds. So there's that. There's also a Go Pass for the Road to Kalos and a Go Pass Deluxe. And it's going to kind of work like it does with these major events. Basically, you'll be able to get a limited amount of Go points for your Go Pass every single day. And then during the weekend, so February 28th and March 1st, you can get an unlimited amount of points for your Go Pass throughout the weekend. So you're going to end up finishing your Go Pass on the weekend. The Go Pass Deluxe for this, by the way, is $14. It's much more expensive this time around, but there are some really, really big rewards. So the regular free Go Pass will have an encounter with a Lucario that has a Mega Evolution inspired background. If you get that with a shiny, that is going to be such an insanely rare collectible thing. That's so cool. So that's really, really exciting. Along with Lucario Mega Energy, you'll get that too. Go Tour 2026 T encounters with event-themed Pokemon, Stardust XP, Pokeballs, candy, and more. So really, really good, even if you have the free pass. Now, if you pay the the 15 US dollars, you'll get an encounter with Hoopa Unbound. That's kind of insane. A Lucky Trinket. It's back. Zygarde cells, which I'll never get because I never go on routes, so I'm going to have to pay for my guess. A Zygarde-inspired avatar item, Victory Bell Mega Energy, Malmar Mega Energy. Those two, by the way, are brand new Megas coming out during this event. Candy XL, huge. And then premium items like premium battle passes, incense, TMs, and more. So they're definitely making that $15 worth it, which is big. There also are really, really big milestones for completing different sets of this. So for the Tier 1 milestone on the Go Pass, the free one, you get a Scatterbug will appear more frequently when you pin gifts. You can open up to 100 gifts per day, receive up to 200 gifts per day, and hold up to 40, and you get 1.5x catch XP. Crazy. If you have the Go Pass Deluxe, all of the bonuses in the free, plus Scatterbug appearing even more frequently, one additional candy awarded for catching Pokemon in 5-star Mega or Primal or Shadow raids. That's very helpful, especially because those are all legendaries. One additional Candy XL awarded for catching Pokemon in all of these as well, and 2 times Hatch Candy. So you get extra candy, extra XL candy when raiding. That's insane. That is making that $15 even more valuable. The Tier 2 in the Go Pass, the bonus for the free one will be large increase to the catch effectiveness of Premier Balls. So if you get to Tier 2 in the Go Pass, it will make catching legendary Pokemon easier. That's amazing. Along with 2 times catch XP. The Go Pass Deluxe, so the paid version, you get those 2 bonuses, plus an additional 5,000 XP from completing raids and 2 times Hatch XP. And then the Tier 3 Go Pass bonuses for the free one will be a substantial increase to the catch effectiveness of Premier Balls and 3 times catch XP. This is so good. By the way, I just want to make a note. There were a lot of complaints. The community had a lot of complaints around recent raid events because the catch rate wasn't brought up for the Pokemon in raids. So there was a lot of raids to do. People were spending a lot of money on raids, but the Pokemon were very hard to catch. It slowed everybody down. People lost legendaries and lost money. Like, people were frustrated, and it makes sense. So to remedy that, Pokemon Go is like, bet, we're going to give you higher catch rates for this event because it's all about raids, kind of, but you got to work for it. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm down. And it's free, so that's super cool. So that's really cool. So work on your Go Pass, even if you're not going to pay for it, because you get way more, much higher catch rate in these raids. That's so useful. And then for the Go Pass Deluxe, the Tier 3 reward will be those 2 bonuses, plus 2 times Stardust from completing raids and 2 times Hatch Stardust. This is going to be one of the biggest weeks of the year of Pokemon Go. I hope you're ready. I know in a recent video I said I was like retiring from the grind, but I might come out of retirement for this one. I think we're going to grind this week. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.